Can you see if we're live, Eric? I should be live. I had problems earlier getting things set up, so hopefully everything is kosher. Holy crap. All right. Not 100% sure if anybody can hear us, but we are hopefully
See, I went
live.
to Burger King for like dinner today,
Yeah.
or after work meal, more like. But
Yes.
but I asked for a barbecue king burger because I didn't want the rodeo burger, which has barbecue on it, but because that has two onion rings on it, and I didn't want that.
Oh.
But they gave me the chicken sandwich instead.
Yeah, it's better anyways, probably, man. Um, if you're just are we live yet, Eric? Did you check?
Um, I mean, they gave me that because that's probably what they thought I wanted, but it's not. I just wanted everything that king sandwich had, except without the chicken patties.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are live.
All right, good. So we're gonna have a heck of a show for everybody today. Episode 712. Ooh, I forgot to change that in the doc, but let me do that right now.
It's called the BBQ King sandwich. It's not probably because it's supposed to be a chicken king, but they didn't say anything about chicken on it, so they should just interpret the meal as I said. If I wanted a BB King burger, then give me a BB King burger.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of sneezing for me today. Holy cow! Uh, we got a little bit of news for you guys today.
I didn't get to record a review today, but I probably have something for Halloween because I wanted to spend more time on Yomorari before doing a review on it.
Yeah.
I'll review Scorn too, even though I didn't finish it because I don't want to, because it's not a good game.
Sometimes you have those games, Eric, where you get about halfway through and you're like, "Why am I playing this game?" And then
I'll
you
probably
just
have more Halloween related movie reviews next week though, because I didn't get around to them this week.
yeah. Um, I'm wondering, did I review Terrifier 2
I
last
think
week?
so.
I think I did. Um,
It's like maybe I'll watch Smile next because I think that's on Paramount Plus.
is it?
Yeah, because I think it was Paramount Plus exclusive streaming, but then they put it in theaters, just like Terrifier 2.
Yeah. Yeah, but and then at the last second they decided to put it in theaters, and it actually did really well in theaters. Let me see. Do I have Paramount Plus on my phone? I do not. I need to put that on there. Okay. We're gonna have a heck of a show for you guys today. I have. I'm gonna give my final review of the first new season of Beavis and Butthead. Also gonna do a fan-made Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Speaking of Halloween,
Don't get into spoiler territory. I still haven't watched it.
I won't. I won't, Eric. You don't have to worry about that. There's too many episodes to to spoil too much. I'll just do generalities. Stinko should be pretty fun today. Obviously, you guys can tell what one of my Stinkos is right off the bat. But I do have a couple more. So, there you go. And we have the first member of the RPGrinders Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Shame, this week. So you're gonna want to stick around for that. And then to top everything off, to lead you guys into the Halloween weekend, we will be crowning the greatest Halloween or scariest game of all time. And I think that's very appropriate for Halloween week, Eric. We've got 4 contenders left, and they're all very deserving. But we will finish that off today. Should be fun.
I got Barbarians on HBO Max now too, so maybe I'll watch that.
Barbarian is an awesome movie. I think I've already reviewed that one. I am curious about Smile. I'll try to watch that. If that truly is on Paramount Plus right now, that would be pretty awesome.
At least that's what I thought I read.
I know it's going to be on one of the streaming services, but I didn't.
It's not on Peacock because I checked already.
I think that it's going to be.
Nope comes out next month.
Yeah, I knew it. Well, that's okay. What's up, Freak 5? Nice to have you in there. We have not started the show yet.
Or rather the 18th, because it's practically November already.
Yeah. We are waiting for Break to get on in, and then we will start the show. We're going to have a great show today. Despite my sickness, should be awesome. Okay, there we go there. We're good there. Just waiting on Break. How was your week, Eric? Okay?
Mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, my week was okay up until, like, yesterday or today. I kind of knew, like yesterday I kind of knew I was going to get sick. Like, my nose started running. I was like, oh, boy, here we go. Are you getting Wolong, Eric?
Next year, yeah. Maybe not immediately because it's going to be on Game Pass, so I'll probably play that version first.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be DLC, and I'd rather buy the complete edition when that happens.
Yeah. Free-to-play mobile game, huh? Okay. Yeah, we'll see how good that's going to do.
I am absolutely not interested in the Stranger of Paradise DLC now because they keep fucking it up by locking content behind content and making that content accessible only via higher difficulty levels that are increasing with each DLC pack.
Yeah.
The only benefit you'll get from getting the season pass is the additional weapon and class types.
Yeah.
The actual story content's locked on that bullshit.
When you have...
And apparently there's a god mode thing you could do to kind of get around that, but I don't want to do that. I like to play the game normally.
Yeah. I agree.
Now, let's say fix this with the final DLC pack. I'm not bothering. I don't think they will, though.
I have a big problem with
I'd rather watch somebody else play that stuff.
Yeah. I have a big problem with RPGsite.net, man. Like they have 2 overlapping ads, so it's really hard.
I'm sure they don't like it either, but they probably have to do it.
Yeah, but they could lay it out a lot better than this, Eric. Like I'm looking at my screen now, and there's a banner ad on the bottom, and then it's blocked. And I actually was interested in what was in the ad because it said something about Shocktober shocking savings.
And there was
whatever.
A rollover on top of that. And so,
no, you can't close it out. It's it's one of the. You just have to wait. Oh, Arrow Video. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, I'm okay with that. But it's just so annoying. I know that they probably have to do it, but there's got to be a better layout for their ads, man. I mean,
or seriously. They can complain with the person who they're getting ads from. The way they have it set up. They should probably tell them to change the design of their ads.
No. This is purely an RPGsite.net problem because it's their coding. Because the banner ad at the bottom, right? And then they have this like they have an ad up at top, so there's two ads. There's a little banner ad up top. There's a banner ad on the bottom. And then there's the other ad that they put that overlaps the bottom banner ad on the right-hand corner, and it takes up half of the ad. And it's like, if you want me to watch ads and not get a fucking ad blocker, then fix that. Move that up. Do something. Like, come on, man. I mean, it's so distracting. And then even when I do wanna see your ad, like I can't, because the other ad is blocking that ad. And it's like, goddamn.
Hopefully there's a site redesign next year.
Yeah, hopefully, man. I mean, it's one of the few criticisms I have about RPG site is their ad placement, man. Like, I don't mind. I mean, I know everybody has to do ads. That's how they make money, yada, yada, yada. I get it. But, you gotta
Does ad block get rid of it?
Well, I don't have ad block.
Do you not use the site if you don't have an ad blocker?
I don't do ad blockers because I like for them to make money, because I use their site. That's my way of, like, helping them out. But damn, dude, like if you're blocking ads with other ads, then you're doing it wrong. It's just, I mean, it's like if you're trying to read the article and they put an ad right in the middle of the article. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they put it in the upper right-hand corner, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Maybe move the upper banner a little bit left, and then put that video ad up in the upper right-hand corner. Like, that would be ideal, because then I could see all the ads. Woo! And I could see the article. It's like a win-win for everybody. But what do I know? All right, we're just if you're just joining us, this is the RPGrinders show. I'm on with Eric RPG. This is Frank. We're waiting on Break to come on in, and we will get the show started properly. We will decide today the scariest game of all time, and it should be fun. I can't wait to get it going. We're gonna have a great show. We've got lots of content. It should be just a really, really fun show for everybody involved. And hopefully we can get it. It's going to sound like kind of a contradiction, but I'm really not feeling too good. Yeah. Add coughing to the list of stuff that's going on with this newly acquired cold. So there you go. All right.
Be like Mega Man game. You got fucking cold.
Oh man, it's awful. It sucks. Glad everybody could join us today. Freak 5, do you hear us loud and clear? Let me know in the chat, please. I think everything's all systems go. But it's always nice to hear confirmation from somebody. And we are just, yes, okay, cool. Thank you, Freak5, appreciate that. Looks like we got OAX2 back in there. Alicidra's in there, another TV viewer and Commander Root, in addition to Freak5. We're waiting for Breakman to join on in. I'm sure he'll be here in just a couple of minutes. I saw him on Twitter, so I know he's around. Come on, Break. I know you're there. I seen you earlier. He's probably fighting with Skype again. Let's see what else we got here. I think Eric has a couple of reviews. Yes, he does. And I also have a couple of reviews. So should be a pretty packed show. I don't know if Break has any reviews, but I'll ask before we venture to our reviews, Eric. Looks like, Eric, you got one Halloween-related type movie, which is always cool. Can't wait to hear that one.
Well, it's a horror story, all right.
Yeah, it's a horror story of a movie, that's for sure. I haven't seen it yet, and I don't care if you spoil it, Eric. um, but he also has a couple other reviews. I also have one semi-Halloween related movie. It's a fan-made Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Is this what your script was about?
No. I have a different script. It's I just got the very beginning of it written, but it's gonna be something completely different. It has nothing. It's not a horror movie for sure. I mean, I guess you could consider it a horror movie because it deals with certain aspects of my life, but you know, told in my way. But it's gonna be good. I think it's shaping up to be pretty good. The thing I'm worried about the most is shooting. I want to start shooting the movie in January. I'm hoping to have the script done by January, so I can get it done maybe by the end. Get started by the end of January, and then maybe do like a 1 month shoot. So I can be done by March. That would be ideal, but you never know with the weather here and all that shit. So, yeah, Caveman. Yeah, exactly. Freak Vibe. It's a story of my life. The Caveman movie. Yes. I did see a really good Caveman movie.
You're finally turning the unfrozen caveman lawyer into an actual movie.
How dare you, Eric? How dare you, you son of a bitch. Just waiting on, if you're just joining, we're waiting for Breakman to join, and then we'll get this party started. I know he was
or Frank's writing the screenplay to year 2, because there was already year 1.
How dare you, Eric? Oh man. Let's see if Break gave me a message on the old tweeter. Okay. No worries. We're gonna all right. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Jesus. He's having some issues with his computer, so Eric, why don't we go ahead and get started, and we'll just get the news done while you know what I'm trying to say, Eric. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. And welcome everybody to RPGrinders episode 712. I am your host, Frank Branches, alongside my trusty cohort, Eric the Great. Breakman the Bold will join us momentarily. He's obviously having some sort of issues with his computer, and we'll go on from there. Eric, how you doing, man?
Mostly all right.
All right. Well, I mean, why don't we get right into it, man? Let's go ahead and get into the news here. RPG news. All right, Eric, you are up.
All right, from RPGsite.net, we've got CD Projekt Red announces The Witcher remake, which is a full remake of the first Witcher game, built in an Unreal Engine 5.
I mean, I know Witcher 3 is really good and all, but did we really ask for this? I mean, honestly, can we just could they have started on
Which is weird because I distinctly remember saying that they weren't going to visit remakes of 1 and 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, couldn't they just go move on to Witcher 4? I mean, that seems like a
They've
better.
already got people working on that apparently.
Oh well, okay. So they're
So yay for more crunch and protracted release or development schedules.
yeah. I'll wait till it comes out and about 2-3 years later becomes an actual game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's as much as I have to say about that. And Freak 5 is exiled already. All right, let's move on to the next story from.
I mean, it probably deserves the over 2 though because it hasn't aged as gracefully as 2 has, and 2 is kind of janky as hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they might as well go with 2 right after that, right? Then we'll go. I mean, it seems done. And then by the time they get done with 2, they can do a fucking Witcher 3 remake. You know what I mean? I mean, might as well.
They probably won't remake 2 though. They'll probably just remaster it.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be even easier to do.
Yeah. Well, get CD Projekt, not CD Projekt, Blue Point on it.
Or like maybe it would be easier to make a remake of 2 using the engine for the remake.
Freak 5 says, have you seen the classic 1981 movie Caveman? To call it a classic is kind of, yeah, I don't know, Freak. But yes, is that the one with Ringo Starr? I think that's the one you're referring to. All right, next story comes to us from RPGsite.net. Wolong Fallen Dynasty launches worldwide on March 3rd, 2023. Demo feedback published. So we've talked about this game for quite a while. It looks gorgeous. I mean, I don't know about gameplay, but I mean, it's going to be another Souls-like, right, Eric? I mean, I hate to use that term because everybody uses it, but
well, it's more of a. It's kind of like a weird cross between Sekiro and Neo.
Yeah, maybe that's a more apt description of it. Freak 5 says, famous line, that's doo-doo. Yes. All right, Eric, next story.
All right. Wizardry Variants Daphne is a free-to-play RPG for mobile devices, and it's set to release in 2023. And Dreadcom and Studio 2 Pro are the people behind this game. And it's a wizardry game. That's all we really know about it.
Yeah. And it's just a teaser that they're showing here. And there's nothing nothing in this teaser worth watching.
No mention of Western or global release of any kind.
Yeah. Not really any gameplay, really. I mean,
just proof of concept, mostly.
Yeah. I mean, this looks like an average wizardry game, you know? I mean, ugh. I mean, it looks less than average to me, Eric, to be honest with you, but...
Well, like I said, it's probably just mock-up stuff.
Yeah. All right, well, there you go. All right, next story comes to us also from RPGsite.net. Sword and Fairy Together Forever releases for the Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One on November 3rd. So if you were interested in this game...
No Game Pass?
Does not say anything about Game Pass, Eric.
Well.
You know, might be one that you have to wait for a sale on, but it does look pretty good, man. I mean, the visuals are very alluring. So, I mean...
If it weren't for all these other releases, I would have picked up the PS5 version already.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just... I mean, isn't there so much... And then, I mean, as we go in the coming months, I think February is stacked, right, Eric? I mean, it's like release.
Like, I don't think it's going to ease up until April.
Oof, yeah. Unrelenting, man. I mean, you're pretty much just gonna have to pick and choose. I mean, you know, that's how it goes, man. I mean, you can't pick up everything, right? I mean, unless you win that $800 million gazillion dollars on the Powerball, you're not gonna be able to pick up all these games. So, you know, just pick and choose or wait for sales like me. That's pretty much what I do. But this game actually looks pretty cool. It looks very vibrant, very colorful, maybe story driven. So. You know, so there you go. It's like an action RPG more than anything. So I'm looking forward to this. All right, Eric, what you got?
Fallout 4 gets a current gen upgrade. Fallout 4, sorry. Coming in 2023. Obviously, that's PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows PC. So I'm guessing they're just gonna like add like a 4K texture mod plus optimizations for the PC release.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad because I mean,
And the update also allow for 120 hertz.
I wish Break was here because he loves Fallout 4. I think that's his favorite, one of his favorite games, if not his favorite game.
All the people that really loved 3 and Vegas, New Vegas, didn't like 4 as much because it feels stale and sterile in comparison to the other 2 games.
I think Break really liked it though. I think this is one of his favorite games.
But I think it's like that must really depend on like whether or not you are so addicted to Fallout that you want more of the same anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I never.
But I think the problem with them is just they wanted something a little bit more original in terms of the narrative, and there it wasn't really.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. Well, I mean, it's not a huge.
Or memorable characters.
Yeah. Well, that's you could actually that there is something to be said about that because even if you have a, if you have a game that has some redeeming characters, that a lot of times can save your game.
I don't know why they decided to do this over doing a remaster for consoles of Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition.
I don't know.
Well, like the best you could do with that so far is playing the 360 version that has the FPS boost feature on your Xbox consoles, on the newer Xbox consoles, or the Xbox One X.
They mention anything about frame rate at all? Because I didn't see anything in this story.
120 hertz.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, that's cool.
I'm sure the game already plays at 60.
If it plays at 60, that's good enough.
I mean, I don't think the PS4 and base Xbox One versions do, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I have a PS5 and an Xbox X, so if they give me 60 frames at 4K, I'll take it. You know what I mean? That'd be pretty fun to go back and play Fallout.
I'm guessing they can't just not do a PS5 version of Fallout 4 because it's a game that already exists on that platform, so they might as well make a new version of it on that platform.
Yeah. Or I think they are doing that. They are giving it. It says PlayStation 5 too, so that's cool. I mean, at least that's nice. They could have shunned the PS5 altogether.
I mean, that's kind of what Arcane did when it came to the PS4 version of Prey. They didn't do a next-gen update for it, and it's got all technical issues that still exist on that version.
Yeah. Good thing I got Prey on the Xbox. I got it on the Xbox One. I wonder if they're ever did they do an upgrade?
Yeah.
For the Xbox. Okay, good.
I don't know if they did upgrades, but they did optimization patches.
Okay. Well, I'll take it. That's fine. All right, and the last story here, coming to us from RPGsite.net again. Come on now, let's get there. There we go. Loop 8, Summer of Gods, launches March 16th, 2023 in Japan. PC version set for March 21st. And then they have a second trailer, which is being uncooperative now. I have not seen this particular trailer, but I'm looking at it now. And it's a visual novel, right, Eric?
I think it's... Let's see.
Yeah. It looks like a... maybe...
It looks more like an adventure game.
Yeah, maybe an adventure
game with RPG battle system.
Yeah, there you go. All right. It looks okay. I mean, very basic, but might be fun. I don't know what the story is or anything like that.
It's technically a sequel to another game.
Summer of Gods, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, there you go. That is all of the news, and Break is still furiously trying to get his laptop in order, so hopefully he'll get on here real soon. But
Yeah,
he
the thing
will
with
be here.
Fallout 3 on the Xbox One via SPS boost, the only thing that'll do is give you FPS boost. It's still playing at the low resolution it released at,
Yeah,
so it's stuck at 720p.
yeah. Oh,
So I'd be better off playing Fallout 3 and New Vegas on my Steam Deck.
yeah. All right. I don't know if we have any Dear Breakman yet until Breakman gets on in here. So why? Oh, do you know of any homie discounts, Eric?
Not really.
Halloween sale's pretty good on PlayStation. I know.
There's
Uh,
all the Resident Evil games are on sale on Steam too,
yeah, most of the Resident Evil games are on sale on the PlayStation.
and I think NIS still has like sale going on that lasts until the end of the month too.
You can pick up Evil Within for less than $5. You can pick up Evil Within 2. I saw for $5 as well, so that's a great deal on those games. Pick those games up if you haven't already. Very underrated games. Alien Isolation is on sale. I mean, they have a lot in the Halloween sale. It's too much to go over. But you would definitely be wise to go in there and pick up some of those games for even $5 or less. I mean, you know, they got a variety of games in there, but pretty good nonetheless. So, all right, let's move on to
Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring Minds want to know what you've been playing, Eric.
Not betting at 3 because I haven't had time to play it at all today because I decided to watch Morbius instead.
Oh boy, yeah.
But maybe over the weekend, I might take a break from Persona 5 just to play that in Yomawari.
Yeah.
But other than that, Yomawari Lost in the Dark and Persona 5 of what I've been playing.
Yomawari and Persona 5. How's Persona 5? You're playing it on the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
How is it on the Xbox?
It's fine. I mean, it's a game that doesn't need to be in 60 FPS, and it makes some animations look weird because it's suddenly too fast sometimes.
Ooh.
But otherwise it's smooth. So it's not the kind of game that you have to worry about.
Right.
The increase in frame, meaning bad frame pacing, which means screen tearing. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. The PlayStation 5 version's pretty good too, right? I mean, it's not bad. Let me see if we can get Break in here. In just a second. Did you beat it? You beat it on the PS5, right, Eric?
No, PS4.
Oh, PS4. How was the PS4 version? PS4 Pro, obviously, right?
No, I never had a Pro.
Does it work okay on the non-Pro?
Yeah, but the game does load faster on the newer generation consoles.
Yeah.
It's like the load times are pretty much non-existent now.
Gotcha.
There's only an initial boot that you get when you get the logo parade.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. All right, we're trying to call Breakman now. Let's hope that we can get him online. Breakman, do we have
that
you?
was something that was hard-coded in the original game, though,
Yeah.
so they can't really fix that.
Yeah. Breakman, do we have you?
I'm still struggling with my computer, so I just said fuck it and I'm calling you on my phone. I hope it doesn't sound like shit.
No, you sound great, man. You sound
Well,
okay.
I'm gonna fuck with this PC while I'm talking to you.
Okay, no
fuck
worries.
PC.
No
Fuck
worries.
You. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
You know what, man? When we finally raise you enough money for a new laptop, we want a video of you like throwing it off like a very high place. You know what I'm saying? All the years of BS we dealt with that fucking computer, man. We're gonna get you there, man. We're gonna get you a new computer, and then we're gonna have a not so funeral. You know what I mean?
Well, HP sounds for heaping pile. Is
Yes,
all I know.
yes.
You can get the rest of it. But...
Yeah, I mean, I was dealing with Bridget's heaping pile of shit earlier, so yeah, I feel you, man. Although is yours HP or what is yours, Bernie?
Yeah, HP. That's what it stands for. Heating
No,
pile.
it's HP 0 because it's basically 0.
I think
right?
hers is a Dell, but even that's a piece of shit, man. It fucking blows. The best thing about Bernie's laptop is her case, which has some zombies on it,
And my stickers.
and her stickers. Yes, it's a Dell, and it's another. It's if you whatever acronym you want to put for Dell is
Piece of
like,
poop.
yeah, piece of shit is what it is. But yeah, Windows in general is, I mean, that's how I feel about Windows pretty much. But we did get through all of the news, Breakman. Did you have a dear Breakman this week?
Just that tweet from Freak about that thing he sent to you.
Oh yeah, the yes. I have to.
I'm trying to find it. The might be as old. So Frank Branches might not be as old as we think he is. Is he only 500 billion years old and not the many times older than what he appears to be? Because apparently
Son of a
smoking
bitch.
weed makes you look older.
Well,
Age
I mean,
faster.
that's kind of a proven thing. I mean, smoke in general, right? Like, I mean, it does form you, But I'm actually youthful looking for how old I am. So screw you, Freak Five, you son of a bitch. Is that a second exile? No, I'm not. I'm not even gonna dignify that with an exile. So, all right, Breakman, what have you been playing?
Not much because I've been busy. I've been playing more of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
It's still fun
Mhm.
when the game doesn't crash every other game.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating, but still, it's you get to be Jason. It's a lot of fun hunting down the campers,
Yeah.
little bastards.
I bet you're gonna have a good time with the new Texas Chainsaw game, man, because that's looking really, really good.
Yeah, I want to play the new Ghostbusters game because it's in the similar vein that one versus everybody. Like somebody gets to play the ghost and everybody else gets to play the Ghostbusters.
Oh shit, that's cool. Yeah, that would be cool too.
Are ghosts able to teabag? Because you think they wouldn't be able to.
I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But yeah, I like that one person gets to be like the bad guy and everybody else gets to be the good guys, kind of thing. It's a lot of fun, I think, personally. Yeah. And then more Smash Brothers. I'm thinking like 2/3 of the way through that at this point. I've probably got less than 200 fights left, I imagine.
Wow. Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's just from like watching football and in between plays, get a quick game in, commercial break, quick game in.
At least you have something to look forward to with your team this year, Break, man. My team is just sucking. It's the most disappointing team in the entire league, I think. And
I think Russell Wilson's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a torn up shoulder, torn up knee. Like, I mean, I think they should just shut him down the rest of the way. Just let him heal and come back next year. This is a lost year anyways, man. But he's playing this week, so of course he's gonna get injured even worse, and you know what I mean. Like it's just one of those years. Every single good player on our team, they might as well just trade Bradley Chubb, Jerry Jeudy, just do it all, man. Trade, get more picks, and reload next year. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at with this season. Totally disappointing,
Yeah, I get you. Our season started off disappointing too, but it was like I said in my first complaint, there was bad coaching and just not being ready, with the lack of having starters in the preseason. They just weren't ready for the beginning of the season.
Same here. The same thing. But at least your team is like, okay, now we're ready. Mine is like, are we playing? It's like, it's so bad, man. So bad.
In there, there have been many Sundays I've watched. Like, they knew there was a game today, right?
Right. Well, you got a quarterback now that you're not gonna have to worry about that for 10 years, man. He's
no.
I'm really, really high on Joe Burrow, man. I think he's fantastic, man. But I also think Russell Wilson's really good too. Just man.
Yes, I guarantee you once he's healed, he'll be better. But they're not going to give him a chance to heal this year.
No, and that's what's going to suck. Next year's the year. If it doesn't happen next year, it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? I mean, it's. I'm resigned to it. But anyways, let's I've been playing Titanfall 2. So that's what I've been playing. You didn't beat Alien Isolation this week, Break?
I didn't even play it. I didn't have a lot of time.
Okay.
It was either play video games or watch some movies, and I watched some movies. So.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of, let's do some reviews.
RPGrinders reviews.
All right, Break, any reviews that you have?
Yeah, I've actually got a few here. I'm going to go ahead and go with the one that's not horror related because the rest of them are horror.
Yes, horrors. Sweet.
I know, love talking about horse. This actually comes from a recommendation from one of our listeners because I wasn't going to watch it, but as I was trying to, I'm binging HBO Max shows as much as I can, get through them in the movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there was one that I just kind of looked at and I'm like, nah, I'll just pass it up. But I think it was like a few weeks ago, Freak said he'd seen it in a few weeks, maybe in a few months or something. He'd seen it and he was raving about it in chat. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, okay. And Freak, I gotta say, like, just why?
What movie are you talking about, man?
Why didn't you tell me about DC League of Super Pets sooner?
You didn't know about Super Pets?
There was a thing that was known. How did you miss it?
I know. How did you miss that?
No,
dude?
it was actually good, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I got you. Like an actual good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it may be the best 3D movie I've seen in a very long time.
3D? You mean like CG?
3D animation. CG,
oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I just thought you bought like a special TV or something to watch it.
I know. I was like, you got a 3D TV, dude? Like...
Yeah, whatever. But the it was a lot better than I expected. Dwayne Johnson did a fine voice acting performance, and the story was really witty and heartwarming at times too.
And depending on how much lore you understand about DC, some people were upset that certain pets weren't represented.
Oh Lord!
Yeah, like the cats mainly.
Well,
There's always haters. Well, but they did that because they wanted to have that one, like, have the kitten, and that kitten was pretty fucking awesome. I love that kitten.
I wanted Killer Croc to show up at some point, but whatever.
What would his pet be?
Huh? I don't know, like a tadpole or something.
Like...
Frog. I don't know. Something like that. All right. So, tell us about this movie, Break.
So anyway, the movie plot of this movie is revolves around Crypto, Superman's dog, and he's grown up with Superman, and he's his best friend, and he's quite arrogant and attached to Superman, overprotectively so. And the story is a lot about him meeting new friends and gaining respect for other people, and growing as a dog and best friend, but just it was just really well done, I thought. And heartfelt connections, especially the end with all the animals that were once homeless finding love, finally finding homes.
It's one of those movies, like
Yeah. One of those movies you can watch like the whole family and stuff. Yeah. But I was gonna. What else did I want to say about it? I guess that's enough. It was good. I really liked it. I say about 8.5. I think.
All right, that's fair. That's good. All right. What else you got?
Best CGI movie I've seen in a long time. I think. Because I really can't think of another good one that I've seen. Whereas this one had me laughing and rooting for the hero, type stuff, and. It's really good. And just when my PC looked like it was getting somewhere.
Poor
next,
poor PC.
Yeah, spent this weekend watching some zombie movies actually.
Ooh, okay. What you got?
One that I'd never seen completely. I'd seen like bits and pieces of it, and I kind of always wanted to see it. And I'm just like, let's watch it.
Yeah.
It's George Romero's very first zombie movie.
Night of the Living Dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Where he's referred to them as ghouls, and Mrs. Breakman, she walks by with a thumbs up. And this movie holds up very fucking well.
Yeah, doesn't it? All
It
right.
has editing problems and the like keeping the fights off of the screen, just like all the 70s and 60s and 50s movies type stuff.
Yeah.
But he still was able to like kind of push the limits of what you saw back then.
Yeah.
But the story itself, it was a gut punch after gut punch after gut punch. It held up so well.
Yeah, yeah. I actually like the '90 remake, the one that Tom Savini directed too. It was actually, I mean, it was almost not quite a shot for shot remake break, but I liked it, man. Like I don't know, I mean, it's a classic, right? Night of the Living Dead is one of those movies that I think they already have it in the archives, right? Like one of the films, like seminal films that'll always be preserved and stuff. And it really should be because it did something that no movie really did back in those days. It had a black protagonist, and which, I mean, this is a '60s movie, right? I think it came out '68. I could be wrong, but holy shit! Like, what a great way to open the floodgates, so to speak, and it also had social commentary. Even though I don't think George Romero ever thought of that movie as being a take on social commentary, at least not that particular
I think
movie.
it was because, like Mrs. Brakeman just said, like George Romero hired him because he was the best actor.
He was the best actor. Yes.
It had nothing to do with the color of his skin. So
Right.
I don't think George Romero was thinking about that when he made it.
Right.
Honestly.
Right.
But he made like a huge statement on it inadvertently, and it was very impactful.
Yeah. And I mean, to hire a black lead actor like that back in the day as a white director, unheard of. So, I mean, just all around, just a great movie, man, and one that's going to go down as one of the greatest movies ever created, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people talk about Nosferatu, but can you think of a movie between, other than the Universal Studios monster movies, between Nosferatu and Night of the Living Dead that had a deep impact to this day? You know what I mean, as far as like social commentary.
Yeah. I mean, George Romero changed what zombies were. We wouldn't have any of the stuff today that Night of the Living Dead never happened.
Yeah.
Like Walking Dead would not exist today.
Right. And I'm really happy that I never knew that you didn't see it, but I'm glad you got to see it all the way through, Break. So
it's really great movie. I give it a 10.
Yeah, it's
like you said.
Yeah.
It's a legendary movie, and just thinking about all the movies that have come because of this since, like, we wouldn't have had so many other movies without Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. I highly recommend watching Tom Savini's remake too, man, because Savini kind of takes the gore level up a notch, so it adds like a new layer to the movie. I mean, it doesn't do anything new per se, but just with the new, like, the colorized vision of it, and then you got the added the Tom Savini touch, as it were. It's pretty good.
I'll have to check that out. I'll see what's on if that's something that I have. But so anyways, speaking of movies that would not exist if it was not for Night of the Living Dead, this was a British movie that came out, and I actually saw this in theaters, but Mrs. Brakeman hadn't seen it, so I was introducing it to her. A new type of zombie back in the early 2000s. Not really, and like the Night of the Living Dead, not really like the zombies. In fact, he called them ghouls in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
And in this, they're not really zombies either. They're actually people infected with a virus, the rage virus.
Yeah, you're talking about 28 days later, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
A movie I fucking love.
Yes, it's a great movie.
Yeah, it holds up too, very well, I think. Did you like it? She liked it too. Okay.
Yeah.
28 days later, I never even talked about the story of Night of the Living Dead, did I?
No, not really. I mean, but I think people pretty much get the gist, man. A group of motley people get trapped in a farmhouse surrounded by the living dead. I mean, that's pretty much
just
it.
Try to escape and try to live.
Yep. Survival story.
Here, you say it. Okay, don't say it to me. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, what? My computer's starting this. Oh, we're getting Skype. Skype's starting to booting on my computer. Really? Wow.
Ooh, wow. It's starting to boot. Wow. It's only about, 40 minutes late, Breakman. You know, I mean.
So anyway, the story of this one starts out similar to The Walking Dead. And this movie actually happened before The Walking Dead. A guy wakes up from a coma in a hospital, and it's fucking deserted. You know, he has no idea what's going on, and it's because the virus has escaped, and instead of killing people and turning them into rotten corpses, it infuriates them until they run out, basically, until they burn out and die.
Mm-hmm.
So they are basically, they're faster, they're angrier, they're meaner, and stronger than any of the zombies of previous movies.
Really fast.
Yeah.
What's that?
They're really fast.
They turn really fast. Yeah, they're really fast.
Yeah.
It's like super rabies, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And like even one drop of blood, if it gets anywhere like in your eye or anything, you're pretty much effed. You know, so it's kind of accurate in that way. I mean, a lot of times Walking Dead, like you'll have like a scene where somebody's chainsawing or slicing through zombies and they get blood all over their face and eyes and mouth, and nothing happens. But this one is a little bit different. You get even one drop in your eye and you're, that's it.
It always bothers me, and it happens almost in every zombie movie when they go like up toe to toe with them, and the zombies are like swinging their hands around and stuff. How they don't get scratched?
Mm-hmm.
They always. Have you been bitten or scratched? Have you ever seen in any zombie movie somebody get scratched?
Didn't Walking Dead Carl get scratched, or did he get bit?
He got bit.
I thought he got scratched. Never mind.
But it's very rare somebody ever gets scratched, even though getting scratched should be something that happens. I mean, fingernails will scratch people, and
right.
if their bones are sticking out or something, that's going to scratch you,
I guess the later on you go in like a scenario like Walking Dead, like nails do fall off, and you know what I mean? Like, so it would be less and less likely. But I agree with you, man. Scratching. Freak says, have you seen Night of the Living Dead 3D with Sid Haig? I did, and I didn't like it. Freak 5. I thought it was a terrible rendition of Night of the Living Dead, but whatever. Continue on, Break.
Okay, so this one basically a rage monster, and this one again is people trying to survive. And instead of being holed up in one spot, this is the Scarecrow going on basically meeting people as he's traveling, trying to. I think he's going home originally, but then I forget where he was going. I forget what there was a military base. That's right. They were trying to get to a military base.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Which is never a good idea in a zombie apocalypse, by the way. Never.
Well, one thing that I really like about this is, in most zombie movies, like they die and then you don't know. They'll either turn right away or maybe they'll wait a little bit for when it's convenient. With the rage virus, it's like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's instantaneous almost. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. There's no question. Once you get
I
blood,
never watched the sequel.
Oh, it's good. I like the sequel too. Not as much as I liked it.
Later.
Yeah.
Speaking of the sequel of this movie, that I give a 9.
Yeah.
28 Days Later, because it's a freaking awesome movie.
It's a pretty great movie, man. No doubt.
The sequel to 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, I hadn't seen the sequel.
Oh, it's good. I liked it, man.
Is that streaming anywhere?
No,
Yeah.
I said hadn't, Frank, until I watched it the other day.
Yes. Oh, that's your next one. Nice transition.
Is it streaming?
So 28 weeks later
yes,
happens,
it is.
as the title says, 28 weeks later. What happened was the entire country of England, of Britain, was basically quarantined because of the rage virus. It broke out and it destroyed the city. Whoever didn't get out was, infected or whatever, or dead, pretty much. So in that time, they've wiped it out. They've cleaned up the city and they started rebuilding. And they started rebuilding the country, and in a 6-month period we have, which is way too soon, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like, if this ever happens in real life, let's at least wait like a couple of years before we.
Maybe the movie was commentary on how like a future commentary on how the U.S. dealt with the coronavirus.
No, you know what? There's something to be said about that, Eric. I'll explain
Yeah.
that when break finishes.
He isn't wrong. You're not wrong, Frank, at all.
Mm-hmm.
I kept thinking that as I was watching the movie, like, God damn.
They're so quick to return to their deluded idea of normalcy that they'll do anything.
Yeah.
So, this, I should start. It actually starts at the beginning of the sort of somewhere early on in the Rage. We have a guy and his wife stuck in a cottage with some other people they meet randomly, and the Rage monsters get in and pretty much kill everybody except for him. And instead of helping his wife, he abandons her.
Yes. He's one of the most loathsome characters in any movie. Period, man. Like
I've never seen that really in a movie before. Like the guy blatantly abandoned his family member like that.
Yeah,
God damn.
He runs the other way. He's like, "Fuck this, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out."
I was looking at an excuse for a divorce anyway.
I was gonna divorce your ass next week anyways, bitch. So
and then he tells the kids like, "Oh yeah, I saw her getting bit and she's dead and stuff like that," you know.
Yeah, so not only does he do that, but he fucking lies to his kids, man. He's like one of the most worthless dudes ever, man. He's so worthless.
So where things get interesting is the kids who are, as I said, they're bringing people back in. They want to start back in normalcy and make Britain home again, even though it just survived an apocalypse level event, whatever. Anyway, so the guy's bringing his family in, you know, so he brings his kids in. 2 kids who should be nowhere near this.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is the first thing they do is they break out and they go searching for their old home. You know, because kids are going to do shit like that.
Right.
In their own home, they discover that their mother, in fact, survived.
Yeah.
And that's where things turn interesting, because it turns out she is immune to the virus. But she is a carrier of it.
Yeah.
So the virus that they thought was destroyed is living well in this one woman. And, you know, obviously this is a movie, and even, you know, in real life, I think it would happen too at this point, the way stupid fuckers are. The virus gets free, you know, obviously.
Yep.
And then it turns into, you know, escape, for the kids trying to escape. The first one infected by the virus is the asshole father himself.
He becomes patient zero on the second wave. It's funny, man. Like, it's very ironic, man. Yeah, it's pretty good. So what are you giving this one, Break?
It's not as good as the first one, like you said, but it is. I like the ending to this one. The first one had like that had a happy ending. You know?
Yeah.
Like that the hero. And I don't want to give any more away, but it had a happy ending. This one has an ominous, like, kind of ending, like, where there should be a 28 months later movie coming soon, something, you know.
They've been talking about that for years, 28 months later, and we still don't have it, man.
I think that would be the movie that World War Z wanted to be. Like, their super zombies just fucking bother me. Like, it's just like that. Those aren't zombies. You kill them zombies, like they're like fucking superheroes.
Well, actually, if they would have did it a little bit different, not made them quite as aggressive and not quite as fast, it would have made sense, because they were like acting like a hive mind type thing. Like they were, you know how like ants like to survive, a bunch of ants will sacrifice to make rafts on water. That's what those zombies were supposed to be like, but it looked goofy on screen. You know what I mean? This looked really goofy.
They made them like powerful. Like the rage virus doesn't make you stronger than you are. You know, it doesn't make people stronger. It sends them into an absolute fury, and they go full strength at all times.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Whereas like the World War Z zombies, it's like, oh, suddenly they can fly and shit. They're jumping so high. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
But so anyways, like I said, I think that would be better than the World War Z movie. But some of the problems I had with this movie, there was a lot of shaky cam. I hate that shit.
Yeah, I do too,
like, you
man.
See what's going on, like, and then it's like,
that era was full of that crap, though.
Well, the first one didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
Why did they do the second one?
Well, that was the trend going around at the time. Like, if you remember, Break, like that's after
Found
Blair
footage
Witch
slash
came
shaky cam.
out, and a bunch of those found footage type movies. So they,
There are a few movies I can excuse it for when they're shown from like that perspective, like Cloverfield. Like
oh
it's
yeah,
done
yeah,
from
yeah,
the perspective of a guy holding a camcorder,
yeah,
or Hardcore Henry. You're going from the dude's perspective, you know.
yeah,
But this was like the cameraman was juggling the camera. Like that's just stupid.
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It's like watching fight scenes in the dark, you know, like why are you doing this fight scene like this, or Michael Bay Transformers fight scene, you know,
Mm,
like it's going so fast, like why'd you spend all this millions of dollars to make something we can't even see?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense.
I
But
agree with you.
still, it was a lot of fun, still a good movie, and I recommend it. Not as much as the original. Like I said, I really love the original. I think this is about a 7 for the sequel.
I think I'd give it an 8, man. I thought it was a great follow up, but I agree with your quote unquote nitpicks of the movie for sure.
So those are that's what I've seen. I've been watching a lot of dead people running and
Anything else, Break?
uh no. I watched some Walking Dead episodes, but we don't want to talk about that. So that's about it.
All
It's been
right.
all me except for Super Pets. It's been all zombies.
Is that your favorite genre, Break? Like of horror movies, like zombie movies?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Eric, you have.
My favorite horror movies are the Evil Dead trilogy, but yeah, I think zombies probably like
That almost counts. I mean, Deadites are almost like, I guess they're like possessed zombies. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
But all right, all right, Eric,
That's it.
you are up.
So I watched the latest Minions film, the Minions: The Rise of Gru, and I'd say it's actually probably the best out of all the Despicable Me movies, especially considering this is a spin-off of the Minions, which was just okay. But
10 minutes of one of those movies and was so fucking bored.
Mm.
The Despicable Me movies.
I don't disagree, Break, at all.
But it follows the ending of that movie where Gru is being pestered by the Minions, and he finally took them in. And now that he's being accepted to the villain league or whatever it's called in this movie, I think they took him on based on an error because they thought he was an adult, because they make fun of him being a kid when he goes in. And before that all happens, though, they cut to an earlier point in time where the villain league was pulling off a heist to get this diamond to rule the world or whatever, and they kicked out the founder, and he's left for dead, but you find out later that he survived. And anyways, Gru wants to get revenge, and they're chasing him because he stole the medallion from underneath their noses to prove how good he was. But and that guy, the Wild Knuckles, is going after him because he wants it for himself, because he wants revenge on those people. So he gets kidnapped, and over that period of time, he decides maybe he can like train this kid. And so they have a camaraderie, and stuff happens. And Michelle Yeoh shows up doing a voice acting role for the character she plays in the movie that teaches some of the Minions some kung fu techniques that come into play later. And it's a typical kids movie, but I think it was a bit more entertaining than any of the other Despicable Me movies have been so far. So I'm giving this a 7.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I agree with the other. I hated the Minions movies. I mean, I know they're cute for kids and kids love it, but
I think it's because it's less about the Minions and it's more about Gru. That's why I like it more.
yeah, I didn't like it. I
mean, you can do something like League of Super Pets is a cute kids movie, but they made it so well. It's also, I think, adults can enjoy it too. Like parents can sit there and watch it with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, the next movie I'm going to review is The Bad Guys, which is about a group of anthropomorphic animals, furries, that are a group of thieves, basically. And they're kind of like over the hill, but they're still apparently well known. And it's kind of got like that. It's not true of every character in the movie, but like some of the characters that are like more rounded, kind of have that Steven Universe look to them. So that was interesting. Anyways, they try pulling off a heist. It goes south. They get a chance at redemption, so they try to pull off another heist, and he decides he wants to be good, and he doesn't go through with it, and things go south again, and they get all they basically escape that situation, but they basically break up, and he finds out that the person who was trying to reform them was actually just trying to use them to do his own heist. Basically stealing his the money from his own charity to use for whatever ends he has. He doesn't really specify what he's going to do with the money. Other than maybe just for the fame of it all. But it's an okay movie. I liked it a little bit more than the Crew movie, so I'm giving it 7.5.
All right, fair enough. All right, what else you got for us, Eric?
I also watched Morbius, which oh boy, it is one of those movies that you have to wonder if it's really as bad as people say. And yes, it really is. No, it's actually worse than what people say.
Wow.
Because nothing can compare you for how terrible it is.
Oh God, yeah.
You know how I reviewed Ghost Rider? I'm gonna start at 0 and give it a negative score.
Oh wow, this is a first. Wow. Okay.
No, we'll start at 1. How is that?
Okay.
And we'll go down.
All right.
And most of the demerits are going to be like a half a point each.
Wow.
But,
Okay.
Anyways, first of all, the video image quality is terrible. I don't know what they were thinking when they made this movie, because it kind of looks like there's permanent film grain, and it's way too thick. Because this is supposed to be a 4K movie on Netflix that I'm watching. It does not feel like it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the colors are also muted. And the special effects are interesting, but I feel like they could have done a lot more with it for as expensive the movie was. And obviously Jared Leto can't fucking act. And
Well,
I don't understand.
but neither can anybody else in this movie.
He's actually a good actor, Eric. It just depends on the role, you know. It
yeah,
really...
but he keeps getting roles that he can't. He gets bad directors, I guess. He's first to not do good work.
I've just never personally been like drawn to Morbius as a character.
I have. I was a big comic guy for Morbius, man. He's badass.
And you know, you're talking about the Michael Bay action where you can't tell the fuck's happening.
Yes.
Of all the Spider-Man characters next to, I mean, well, they did.
This is in addition to the color being muted and not being able to see what characters are doing because of the muted colors.
Yeah.
So it's muted colors, bad action, bad editing, bad acting, a plot that has a mirror mode match of sorts because Morbius takes the blood of the vampire bats into his own bloodstream and then mutates, and somebody gets,
I did begin with,
and the bad guy gets a copy of it, so he becomes like Morbius, and he has to deal with him now. And so it's almost the same plot as Venom, if you really think about it, because this is the other movie Sony did, and they even made lines about it's like. Somebody asked who Michael Morbius was, and he says, "I am Venom," and then he says, "Just kidding." It's like, I don't even think they're even supposed to be in the same universe, because at the end of the movie, there's a stinger. They're doing that Marvel thing where they show you, like, oh, maybe we're doing something else, and the Vulture shows up, and he talks about how they're both here because of Spider-Man, but Venom's taking place in an alternate universe, so how is that a thing?
Well,
they're going to do a Sinister Six movie.
Yeah.
And they kind of split it off.
Yeah, but like like, how does Morbius know about the Venom if that's taking place somewhere else entirely?
Well, there's multiple Spider-Mans. I'm sure there's multiple Morbiuses, multiple Venoms.
Stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
just it gets confusing for the viewers. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You know?
Sony does not. I mean, you know what Sony should do? Just let Marvel handle it. You can say what you want
I'm
about.
worried about Craven now, but I'm also curious.
You can say what you want about Marvel movies and how they're formulaic and all this, but they know what they're doing with their universe. They have a specific vision, right?
So based off all those demerits, it's a -4 out of 10.
So, as a -4, is this kind of movie? If you get really hammered, will it be hilarious?
I'm
No.
sure, man. No, I think it's just.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
It's so terminally boring. I spent most of my time looking at Twitter than watching the film.
Wow. And you know what? That's saying something for Eric, because Eric.
Because I can pay attention to the movie. I normally can't and won't multitask while watching a film, but this movie I was able to because so little was going on.
Yeah. I heard the same thing about Morbius. It's just not.
At least it's only an hour and 45 minutes instead of the 3-hour slogfest that we get nowadays.
I used to love Morbius, Breakman. Like it was a good comic. Like there was a lot going on with that comic, and it was more mature. You know, it was like kind of like, oh look, holy shit, it's a horror character. You know, the living vampire, you know, type thing. But man, they fucked it up, man. I mean, they did actually Marvel did a good job with Werewolf by Night, which is another great Marvel character that not a lot of people know. But Morbius, man, Sony doesn't know what they're doing with their movie. I think Venom is overrated too, by the way. I know it was hugely successful at the box office, and I did like Tom Hardy's performance, but I don't know. It just as what Venom is in the comics, like it doesn't strike me as like having anything to do with the comics, which I think is a misstep.
Sony just as much as I'd hate Disney to have more Marvel properties, just give it to them because at least they'll make it somewhat palatable.
Yeah.
The problem, Sony's got nobody like in control. Like there's nobody like what's the Kevin Feige? Is that the guy's name?
Feige.
Nobody overlooking it and saying, hey, we shouldn't do this and this. Like we can connect them, or we should, you know, maybe have the story closer to a comic, and maybe this director shouldn't be involved.
Yeah. Maybe we should interconnect them like this, you know. Yeah. I agree with Eric. I actually think they should, like, all the Marvel characters should be under the Disney umbrella, just because, like I said, at least their structure, and they do follow the comics to a point. I was a little disappointed in the way that Thanos got the gems, because it's completely different with completely different characters in Thanos Quest. But
well, with all this multiverse stuff going on, Disney actually has the excuse where they could actually probably bring back the old Thor for Thanos.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but I agree. I think that Disney, like I said, like it's very formulaic, and you know that's the deal. But
hell, they could probably even reboot Iron Man if they wanted to.
Oh yeah, well they will eventually, because you know.
I mean, there's going to be an Iron Man 4, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. Are
Well,
they just going to make? Are they going to make the current Iron Man in the comics the girl? Iron Man?
Yeah. They're gonna make Riri Williams the new Iron Man, and she's actually called Ironheart. So it might be called something like Iron Man Ironheart or something, you know, something like that. And it would make sense, because that's how it kind of is in the comics. I mean, eventually you have to come up with new characters, but what better way to like continue, you know, kind of along the same lines with characters that have their own personalities, but also carry the Iron Man torch type thing. You know,
with the next Thor movie, I wonder if it's going to be a Mighty Thor movie or if it's going to be a Helmsworth movie.
I don't know. I think it's going to be Thor for sure.
I mean, because if things happen in that movie, it's like, yeah, but they could always bring characters back if they wanted to, come up with a reason for it. Of
course, they do it in the comics all the time. I think that would be the most comic book thing to do. Bring back Robert Downey Jr. You know, why not? You know, let's do it. What were you saying, Breakman? I think I cut you off.
That's it.
Oh, All right.
Oh yeah, has Break seen Love and Thunder yet?
Oh, have
Not
you?
yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go on to my reviews.
All my superheroes lately have been DC. Like I said, I'm watching for the HBO Max.
I
Yeah.
might just watch Wakanda Forever once it hits Disney Plus a month later, or whatever, because I don't know. I just don't feel like going to theaters for movies anymore. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably gonna see Black Adam because I need time to kill before One Piece film airs. So I might see that next week.
Well, depending on who you ask, it's an awesome movie, or it's
Or it totally
terrible.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no in between on that movie. I mean, I would lean on more towards it's awesome because The Rock is pretty cool, you know. So, but I haven't seen it.
Because he's in it doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Right. Right.
And I think they probably go like the anti-hero Adam, you know, whereas I prefer like the just. I mean, yeah, he is an anti-hero, but I prefer when he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
A hero.
Yeah.
I prefer him as a villain. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let me quickly go through my. I think that's an all-time low, -4 for Morbius from Eric there. So,
No, it was -5 for Ghost Rider. So
okay,
better
my
than
bad.
that.
-5 for Ghost Rider. I'm gonna review the first movie. I mean, it is Halloween season, so I took a chance on a fan-made movie that actually got a decent budget in the Patreon. So I was a little curious. Bernie wanted to support it, but for various reasons, we never got around to putting our names on the executive producer list of this movie. But the movie I'm reviewing is called Sawyer Family Massacre, and it basically is a true prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even though it's unsanctioned. Let me start with the good. Let's just put it this way. A lot of heart was put into this movie. Some of the acting performances weren't bad. It basically dealt with, an incident that happened before the actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which basically, I mean, if you just run it back, it's just, more people getting killed, type scenario. They tried to do character development, but the writing was so bad. The actors had nothing to work with, and there's a reason why, big budget movies are big budget movies, because they pay people good money to write and come up with scripts. I mean, I'm writing a script right now, and it's extremely difficult. I'm gonna be forthright with everybody and tell you that when I shoot this movie that I'm writing a script for, it's probably gonna suck, but I know that the heart is gonna be involved, and I know that there are at least a few moments that people will come out of watching the movie and saying, I'll give people some things to think about, right? This movie gives me nothing to think about other than writing is paramount. So I'm not gonna do the Eric treatment on this movie. It's not gonna get a negative score because I would never give an independent.
I did the negative score purely for fun.
Yeah, I know.
The real score is more like 3.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give this movie. How can I put this? Like, I'm never gonna bash somebody for producing and filming an independent movie because it's extremely difficult. I mean, the amount of dedication it takes to make a movie is insane, right? But that being said, like I said, some of the actors were okay, but the majority were not. You could tell who's gonna probably go on to bigger and better careers. You can also tell who should never be in films again. The director was just okay. I could tell he was trying his best with what he had. The editing sucked. Some of the camera angles suck. Like, there's just so much that goes into making a movie that you don't even realize. Even a shitty high budget movie, you can tell like where the money was spent. This movie, oof. I'm not recommending it at all. I think it's also a 3 out of 10. Like I said, it had some decent kills, but a lot of what made Texas Chainsaw Massacre good is not in this movie. So I wouldn't avoid it at all costs, but this is the type of movie that if it came on, like maybe if you're like an insomniac and you have nothing else to watch and it's like on, then go ahead and give it a watch. Like Bernie says in chat, Leatherface was pretty good. But other than that, no bueno. So 3 out of 10 for Sawyer Family Massacre, which you can see for free with uninterrupted on YouTube. Big, it's so bad it made me sneeze.
On what?
On YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Now I didn't do a full review of Beavis and Butthead. I'm not going to do a full review here because Eric still hasn't seen it. What's wrong with you, Eric? I think this is a must watch. The new season.
I've been playing Persona 5 and it's eaten up all my time.
Yeah, this season was just fantastic, and it culminated with one of the greatest segments I've ever seen in Beavis and Butthead ever. The ghost what is it, Ghosted show on MTV was roasted by Beavis and Butthead in the most spectacular fashion, and was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. No hyperbole. It is. I've been watching it at least once a day. Bernie can tell you for the past like week and a half or week. It's just awesome. So it's a can't miss event for sure. Yeah, I'll read your Stinko in a minute, Freak 5, when we get to Stinkos here real shortly. But Beavis and Butthead Season 1, every episode made me laugh at least once or twice. There was no boring episode at all. There wasn't, like, a huge drop-off in episode. You know, like, certain seasons of shows, you're like, that episode kind of sucked. I could not say that about this season of Beavis and Butthead. Just great all the way around. A 10 out of 10, which I rarely give. So make sure you check out Beavis and Butthead. Now, speaking of Stinkos.
What is it?
Stinko of the week.
Freak 5 has his Stinko. He said, remember his Stinko last week? His company had a kind of shitty way to show appreciation to the employees who aren't pharmacy techs. I came into work on Tuesday. There was a banner talking about appreciating the pharmacy support and 24 donuts. And then he said one shift has a lot more than 24 people who are pharmacy support. So, I mean, that is pretty shitty, man. I mean, we're not going to give you $1,500, but we'll give you donuts. That should quell your...
And not enough donuts to feed everybody.
Yeah, and then not enough. That's pretty, so bad, whatever.
Yeah, here's how much we like you. Not that much.
Yeah. He's a lousy son of a bitch, Freak 5 says. He's not just dumb, he's a lousy son of a bitch. Yeah. That's a Beavis and Butthead reference. I can't get over that episode, man. It's so good. So good. I'm dead still. Anyways, Breakman, your Stinko of the week.
A couple of them. Really quick one. I guess it's been probably 7-8 years now. Rankin died. This past week, Bass died now. So Rankin and Bass are both gone.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
You remember Rankin Bass specials? Probably the most famous of all of them, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know. And then Abominable Snowman and all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Frost.
Yep, Jack Frost. Yeah. That is sad, man.
Rudolph's Shiny New Year, I think it was called.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just sad. Rudolph was a fantastic movie. It holds up to this day, and
it's a reason why it's a Christmas classic. Yes.
Yeah. And the other one goes to the lax gun laws across this country, and I don't care what any fucking person says about gun laws. We have too many. We have too many. Well, if we do, then how come that St. Louis school shooter was able to get a gun? For one thing, in the state of Missouri, they don't have those red flag laws. So this latest mass shooting, only 2 people died. Thank God. It was only 2, I guess. Jesus Christ, in a school, I can't believe I'm saying it was thank God it was only 2. But so anyway, but his parents called his mother because she found a gun in her home, and she's not the gun kind of person. But the police refused to take it away because he legally bought it, even though apparently he already had like mental problems and issues, and it was her house. If a cop comes to your house and it's your house and there's something in your house that you don't want there, and they tell you there's nothing you can do about it, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We don't have enough of these red flag rules. We aren't taking away people's guns, no matter what they fucking say. In some states they are, but other states, and when they say take away guns, these people are afraid of getting their guns taken away. They're not going to go taking away the guns of every average citizen. They're going to take away the guns of the people who were a danger to others or themselves, like this kid was.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that distinction, Break. Yeah, for sure.
So obviously the cops didn't do anything with it. Let me see. Finally, she was able to find somebody that they knew and got them to take the gun away. But at this point, he obviously got the gun back. We don't know how. Nobody's saying what happened, but he got the gun back and went on a killing spree. But this is something they talk about: illegal guns. Most of the illegal guns are either stolen or they're legally purchased and then sold, like straw dealers or to your friends and neighbors, just like this kind of situation.
Or gun show loopholes that still
gun
exist.
Show loopholes, flea markets, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
These aren't being tracked in any way, and these guns they just float through the country. They get to the streets, and they get into other countries too, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you're telling me that gun law wouldn't have stopped that killing, you're being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm a Second Amendment guy, Break, but I also realize that there are certain people that should not have guns, right?
Yep.
And I think the bare minimum is to have a background check and a psych eval. And I think that the United States should pick up that tab. I mean, I think that's owed to us. I mean, it's built into the Constitution that we have a Second Amendment right to carry arms, although it does say well-regulated militia, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that those laws would hurt the gun industry in any shape, form, or fashion. I think they would be just fine. I think it would keep a few more people from getting them, and it might just help reduce the amount of mass shootings that we have. I mean, I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but try to prove me wrong. I mean, that's the whole point. It's the United States is a melting pot of ideas, supposedly, right? People and ideas. So, I mean, can we just try it? And maybe if it doesn't work, then revert back.
And we'll try something else, and then we'll keep trying until something works. Keep
trying. I mean, in reality, I mean, I know the easy solution is to say that if nobody had guns, this wouldn't happen, and it is true. Like, if you look at countries where, the average, gun is like .01 per person in a country, I mean, it just doesn't happen nearly as often, right? Look at Japan. I mean, they have like maybe one shooting a year, and that's kind of a rare thing, I mean, and they have
that assassination was a handmade gun, like the guy made it himself,
Yeah. So, I mean, and to boot, like Japan acted pretty quick. Are you guys still there?
Yep.
Okay. Japan acted pretty quick with legislation, and every time something like this happens, they're on it. And our politicians are still struggling to fight about even the simplest of things, like you said, red flag laws. Break. It's like, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. Like,
people that should not own guns. Just there are. I don't care what anybody says. I am one of the people who should never own a gun.
Yeah. And I think I would be okay with a gun, but I don't own one. I'm more of a pacifist, right? I'm a big Second Amendment guy. If you want a gun, go ahead, but go through the right channels, right? But me personally, I I've become like a presence in the 1A community on YouTube. You know, I have another channel and stuff, and people are asking me all the time, why don't you carry a gun? And it's like, why would I want to? You know, I'm a pacifist. If I end up getting in any trouble, I don't want even the ability to shoot somebody and kill them. You know, I mean, as much as I can't stand certain people, I don't want to take a gun out and have that opportunity. Why would I want that?
Yeah.
You know, so you're a good point, Breakman, all the way around. What else you got?
That's it. That's it.
Eric, your stink of the week.
My stink of the week goes to Florida. And guess what they did this week? Right now, just today, the Florida Medical Medicine Awareness or Medicine Advances ban on transition-related care for minors. I'm going to read some of this. In a controversial and at times bewildering hearing Friday morning, a joint committee of Florida Boards of Medicine and Osteopathic Medicine voted in favor of a proposed rule banning puberty blockers, hormone therapies, and surgery for transgender minors. Mostly teenagers, but I'm guessing that also includes 10 plus as well. But specific language for the rule was not written pending the next full meeting of the joint board meeting on November 4th. The hearing then ended in confusion among the committee and onlookers as committee chair Dr. Zachariah declared that the motion to craft the rule had passed, but gave no official vote tally. And this latest hearing is a result of a June report by Florida's Agency of Healthcare Administration declaring gender-affirming care to be, quote-unquote, experimental and investigational, which at least 10 scientists have misrepresented their work to promote a right-wing political agenda. And a vote held in August to update Florida's rules on transition-related care. Board members also voted to add restrictions to care for adult trans people. And I remember this happening because I was paying attention, unlike a bunch of other people I could mention. Including longer wait times and additional paperwork to establish informed consent. Because adults need informed consent, apparently.
But I thought that Don't Say Gay bill wasn't like just a start. Like they said that they weren't going to start targeting like the LGBT.
Except they have.
Yeah.
and now they're just strengthening those pre-existing policies.
Yeah, this is really sad. I mean, I understand the sentiment. Let an adult make the decision. You know,
it was never about letting the adults make the decision.
Yeah, I know.
It's about erasure.
No, it's about erasure, and I'm with you, Eric. I mean, I have somebody very close to me that's gay, and
I was arguing with my parents. And I almost want to cut myself off the family because of this, or at least them, because they don't seem to understand the severity of the Don't Say Gay bill and like bills in other states.
It's a beginning to an end.
It's like
Eric.
They can't see the parallels between it and the Black Civil Rights Movement or Nazi Germany.
Right.
Well, they advertise it as they're defending the children from sex. We don't want children to talk about sex.
Yeah, even if I wanted to be charitable and say they're looking out for kids by protecting them from people who might commit acts of bullying and mistreatment by the school faculty, well then that's incumbent on the state to hire workers who won't do that.
Okay, let me stop you there.
And if you're going to you're basically just kneecapping children's ability to get the resources they need to understand themselves.
Yeah.
But that's not why they're doing this at all. They're doing this because it is erasure.
Yeah, I think
they want trans people and gay people out of the public sphere.
Yeah, and
they think that curtailing education is going to fix this. Kids are still going to experience these feelings, and now they won't have resources because they're part of families who are ill-equipped to understand these issues because they're not going to teach them about LGBTQ people. I know my parents didn't.
Right.
They didn't even talk about sex education. I didn't even get sex ed in high school, and the girls did, but I don't even know how effective that was.
Yeah.
Probably garbage.
Here's what I'm going to say about it, Eric, and I think you guys can correct me if I say anything that's wrong or anything, but it's funny to me. Like, it all starts with something that seems benign, right? Like you mentioned the civil rights movement. Like, it seemed benign. Let's separate blacks from whites, and have, we'll even create different fountains, right? But the fact that it's like thinking that the thought was back in the day that black people were somehow going to infect white people with some, I don't know what I mean, we talked about viruses earlier. I mean, it's so crazy to me, right? And you said something, Eric, that rang with me. Might, right? Might is an assumption, right? You're thinking, your mind went there, right? That a trans person's gonna attack a kid, right? So your mind went there. It's not the trans people that are the problem.
Yeah, this
in 99% of the case.
Okay, so trans people can't go in the bathrooms they want to because they might sexually assault someone.
But who thinks that?
Why would you think that? Because of course this is the whale poisoning that they put in where they thought gays were sexual deviants. But even ignoring that, I'd have to rebut with, well, why wasn't this never a concern with members of the opposite sex just walking in the bathroom before, with cisgendered people,
yeah,
or people of the same gender.
I mean,
it's like why? It sounds like if you're afraid of them doing this, why you should be afraid of everybody potentially.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think
this is what conservatism is predicating on the fear of
thought crimes
of a small percentage of what could potentially happen. Even if it's a tiny percentage.
And here's my issue. How many times, Brakeman, I'm going to ask you this question. How many times have you went to the bathroom and wondered how many people in that same bathroom were gay? Did you ever wonder about that? Like ever in your life? Like when you went to go pee and there was a guy that's standing next to you, did you ever wonder if that dude was gay or not?
I have to look over every time and check. I look at their penis to see if they're gay or not.
Yeah, because you can tell just by looking over and looking at another guy's penis that if they're gay or not, right? While they're pissing, right? Yeah. I mean, it's the dumbest thing in the world to me to assume the worst in people, right? It's the same problem that I have with stranger danger, right? People thinking that everybody is out to get your kids, right? That's a very dangerous and stupid way of looking at the world, because you're assuming that everybody you're going to run to, and then it bleeds over to your kids, right? You're going to teach your kids, oh, well, don't talk to strangers, because I tell you what, that's how the world revolves. The world revolves around talking to strangers. How did we meet, guys? We were strangers at one point. You can't make
friends if you're going to not talk to strangers, because strangers become friends if you talk to them.
I mean, yes, Brakeman, that's actually a good point. You just hope that nobody else is taking a shit so you can shit in peace, right?
Instead of telling kids to not talk to strangers, why don't you teach kids how to know when somebody's deceiving you?
How about or how about just being kind to everybody that you run into, and if people are nice to you, you're nice back, I mean, good old family values, right? And don't worry about whether someone's gay, black, brown, white, Chinese, whatever the case may be. I'm sick of all the fucking phobias that people are. And you know what? It's not purely a Republican thing either, even though it's way more prevalent in the Republican Party. I mean, there's a lot of Democrats that are afraid of gay people and people of color and poor people and homeless people. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot to be done in both parties to rehab both parties. And in all actuality,
and as for as long as I've been alive, there's been a fight on the evangelical religious right to have theocracy in this country.
Right.
And it starts with Snopes' monkey trial and teaching of evolution in schools.
Yeah. Well, you can't.
And that goes back 100 years ago. Over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
Right. And it's strange, man. I mean, the big argument, I think I heard Herschel Walker, of all people, try to argue that, how is evolution a thing because we still have apes? It's so dumb that these people don't know how things work, It's like, You seriously still believe that?
You could show some of these people who are a little bit more reasonable than others, but they'll still deny you because they'll either move the goalpost by not accepting the sources that you give them, by discrediting the source because it's something they've never heard of, or B, they just won't agree with it and they'll give you a BS excuse anyway.
Yeah.
You can give too many of these people. You can give them video, proof, and evidence. Well, for instance, look at the January 6th insurrection. We have video proof of MAGA, breaking in, but too many MAGA people know those were Antifa.
Yeah, I know. And then here, why are they anti-Antifa? Isn't Antifa short for anti-fascist? What, you want fascism? Is that what you want?
I think it's because the Republicans have sold them on the idea that even if they are anti-fascists, they're somehow terrorists, and terrorists have to be stopped at all costs, regardless of what their motivations might be.
Yeah. Well,
even though nobody within the Antifa movement has actually really committed terrorist acts,
right?
There might have been like one or two like rowdy bad actors, but that's not enough to poison the well.
Right. And then you always have the paid bad actors that will quote unquote take one for the team and make organizations like Black Lives Matter and Antifa look way worse than what they are. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying rioting is the right thing to do, but I mean when you get pushed to a point of oppression where there's nothing else for you to do, I mean what do? You know what I'm saying? Freak5 says in chat, oh yeah, no more Ask Breakman for me on Twitter. I'm deleting my account. Is this because of the Elon Musk thing, Freak5?
Well, going back to the trans things, like, so the idea behind thinking that kids are too young to quote not only understand what they're going through, the parents don't trust their kids to know what their feelings are on themselves, but you're also kneecapping their ability to learn about who they are. And even if you didn't do that and you didn't want them to get surgery, you're going to arbitrarily make them wait until they're all adulthood and potentially suffer the effects of gender dysphoria until they're old enough.
Yeah. Well,
you're going to really want to risk them committing suicide because you feel uncomfortable about what they want to do with their bodies.
Yeah, these are educational issues, Eric.
These are human beings are just numbers to them.
It's not. I'll say this for anybody who's potentially listening, because I might consider showing my mom this episode, because this is the subject I'm very passionate about, and it's not just because I'm biased, because I'm a member of the LGBTQ, being a non-binary myself. Right, sorry if you're finding out this way, but that's how it is.
Yeah, I know. But, it's I mean, Eric, I mean, you have our full support, and there's a lot of people that have your back too, man, and we always will.
There are probably efforts to erase people like me too,
right?
And they won't accept me for who I am.
Well, I mean, we accept
and
you.
I could lose my job for being a non-binary if people got their way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I present as male because that's just what I'm more comfortable with. I mean, I don't feel like transitioning to female because I don't feel that way.
Right. And since when is it anybody's business but your own, Eric? You know what I mean? I mean, it should be between you.
It's the reason why I haven't changed the name for myself. I kept my parents' name because I actually like it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that you got to do what you got to do and what's best for you, Eric, and you always have a place here, no matter what, and you know that, and I hate the fact that we're sitting here talking about these issues, and there's never any support for the mental aspect of things, right? I mean,
but anyways, back to what I was saying, it's like it's not that adults don't think kids are ready. They're not ready for what their kids are going to do.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point, Eric.
But I was the gay bill, like a part of it is when they say we just don't want them to talk about sex. Well, what about a kid who has, say, two gay parents? You've set in the language that you've put in your writing has made it so they can't talk about their own personal lives.
Yeah.
Like the say gay bill was just the start of all of this, is what I'm saying.
And you know what? This actually, this reeks of what Bill Clinton did in his presidency with the "don't ask, don't tell" bullshit.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
basically that, but for everybody else.
Yeah, and it's terrible that you can't be who you know who you are. You know what I mean? Like it's just nonsense. Let me
Or you know,
Can't go to
everybody.
school and talk about his
It was
parents
only a
because
few years ago
Right,
that Trump
right.
actually banned transgendered people from serving in the military if they were out and
Yeah.
out already.
Oh, and by the way, has Biden done anything to correct that? The answer
I
is
think
no. The answer is
he
no. Freak says this will create troubled kids because they can't get the help they need. That will make them more vulnerable to the people who are going to abuse them. I agree. I only wondered the couple of times the gay next it complimented. He was like, I mean, he was backhanding complimenting you as he was looking at your
speak
penis
for
through a
me.
microscope.
No,
Freak.
don't speak for me like that, Frank. That is not what I said to him. I meant the other guy I said to him. I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right. Anything else on that, Eric? I think you
Just-
did a fine job of helping us understand here, Eric.
just like if you're a group of parents who don't understand, then please take the time to not only educate yourself on this, but start listening to the people that matter instead of the authority government figures who
Yeah.
are probably lying to you anyway.
Yeah. I think we listen to our politicians way too much, Eric. Great point, man.
Don't make up excuses like, "Oh, these people have an agenda that they're pushing," or we're just being alarmist.
You're
Because we were totally alarmist when Roe versus Wade was overturned, even though we told you this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a completely different conversation, but it's just a precedent.
Yeah. Okay, let me do mine real quickly. Here, I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell from my voice, but I have a really nasty cold that I picked up, and I'm hoping
didn't
to.
know that would be the sneezing that would have gave it away.
Yeah, the sneezing or the little bit of coughing that I'm doing, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I'm just hoping to be okay by Halloween because I got a lot of food to make. If not, Bernie's gonna be making lots of food on Halloween. And she's like, no. Voter intimidation sucks. I mean, I know I bitch a lot about the two-party system in here, but you know, I don't think it's right for somebody to prevent another person from voting or at least intimidate them into voting or not voting a certain way. So I saw a little bit of that going around, and I was like, what is this? The fucking
It's-
60s?
It's gotten worse than I think it's ever been because now people are like taking down other people's license plates and putting the information up on the internet and stuff.
Yeah, I mean the license plates thing is a weird thing for me because, like, I mean they're public records. I mean anybody can look up anybody's. But I mean it's just, you know.
And I read a report of a woman who was followed home basically by the people watching it because they thought she was what do they call it? A mule. She was a voter mule.
Yeah, and that's very dangerous. And you know,
Yeah.
I mean we have a big enough problem with the police in this country. We don't need it exacerbated by these pieces of shit, you know. So, and then also finally the Bayonetta 3 controversy got even worse. Helena Taylor, oh boy, you may end up.
I told you she lied last week, but
Yeah, I know.
But the thing she did this week.
Yeah, remember we
worse.
told you that Helena Taylor was calling for a boycott of Bayonetta 3, and you know she wanted you to donate to certain charities. Well, some of those charities include anti-abortion billboards, and she's she had some J.K. Rowling very pro J.K. Rowling things to say. We were just talking about the trans thing. Blue Lives Matter, Trump, Joel Osteen.
A fan of Joel Osteen.
Yeah, I mean, so this pretty much
prosperity preacher lying shithead.
Yeah, Joel Osteen is a fucking special kind of piece of shit, and
He's a billionaire, so he's corrupt.
Yeah,
Joel Osteen is the kind of guy who makes me wish that hell existed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Because he would be right first and foremost. You know that episode, Breakman, that I always watch of Castlevania? It's called Monument, where the demons infiltrate the church, and then the the bishop is there, and he's, this is a house of God, and then the demon's like, basically saying, you talk about, it's just
a fucking building. I'm just,
right,
and there's no God here.
There's no, your God pukes when he hears you say this type of stuff, and it was just a great episode, right, all the way around, especially that fight at the end with all three, of our protagonists. But the point is, if he was a character in Castlevania, he would be that bishop. And like you said, if there was a hell, he would be first to go there, So there we go. That's my Stinkos.
It's like you can't say conservative without first saying con.
Yeah.
Which is a shorthand for con artist.
And old school conservative.
And a Latin word for against. So that should tell you something.
Right. Well, look, I mean, if you're one of these people that believe in smaller government and all this stuff, I agree with you. I agree with you. But I also believe in people. And it's time to believe more in people than politicians.
And I'm only the way I am today, ironically, because of my parents.
Yeah.
Why they didn't be the people they wanted me to be is beyond me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, goes without saying, dude. All right, let's move on to happier things.
Dude, what does my tattoo say? Sweet!
Sweeto of the week.
Brickman, your Sweeto of the week.
I've only really got one. They're doing a major cleanup in the city. They've been trying to clean up the Ohio River. They've been removing cars and large debris from it. That's a good thing.
Oh, cars. Any people been found yet in those cars?
Apparently the police are going to look into cold cases with those cars and stuff like that. I guarantee those cops will find nothing because you're
because less than 2% of all crime is I
mean, there's an effort, at least, I guess, on their part. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But I'm glad about the cleanup of the river. That's something that needs to be done across the country.
That's great. That's really, really good, man. Yep. All right. Eric, your Sweeto of the week. Did you have one?
Getting through the week, I guess.
Yeah, that's always a Sweeto, man.
I had ice cream today, but sadly, it's probably the last time I'll be able to go to Dairy Queen because they're probably going to close next week.
Oh, that sucks, man.
That usually how it happens here because we don't have the only Blazier is in Madison, and the other locations close for the winter.
Yeah.
So like the only other Dairy Queen would be like all the way in Nesher.
Yeah. No, Freak 5 says
Conneaut, which are way too far.
Yeah, Freak 5 says it right. They don't want smaller government. They want the government to leave them alone, but they want the government to bother people they don't like. Yeah, that's
what's an
right.
oxymoron? Being fiscally conservative but socially liberal.
I know, it's so
not
stupid.
Possible.
It's dumb. All right, my Sweeto, and this is, I think, a first. We have our first RPGrinders Sweeto Hall of Fame member, guys. Halloween. All right. Halloween is the greatest time of the year. All right. It is the only holiday where perfect strangers give gifts to other perfect strangers.
Oh
God, don't start that shit, Eric. It is the only holiday where you can go around and everybody accepts you for being someone else. We were trying to explain, trans people a little bit, but think about that. When you're out there and you're watching all these kids in different costumes pretending to be somebody else, only imagine somebody that's in a costume that is somebody else, right? So, something to keep in mind. It's the only holiday that kids are allowed to be out in the middle of the streets, and usually it goes fairly well. Nothing really ever happens on Halloween.
Have you heard of the idea of trunk or treat before?
Yes, where people have candy in their trunks and.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until this year.
Yeah, really. It's big in California because people are kind of scared still of like razors and candies and I don't know, just stupid shit.
Because apparently they're doing that in the town area where my sister lives in Austin.
Yeah. Sweeto, Mrs. Freak's doctor was worried about her heart. Yesterday she had a procedure where they sent a camera to look at the inside of her heart, and there is nothing wrong with her heart. That's really cool, man. That's good news. Yeah, one part of her body that's working. What'd you say, Bernie? I'm sorry.
I said Arizona. It's really big. The
Yeah.
trunk or treat.
Well,
My
because
mom just went to 2.
yeah. It's a safe way of taking kids around. But, I've always thought of Halloween as being one of the safest days. I mean, it's not nearly as...
a lot of accidents on Halloween. Like kids hit, pedestrians hit, and stuff like that. The numbers are a lot higher on Halloween.
Yeah, but like if you look at the drunk driving things on Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and every other holiday, it's way less than that. Like it's
if it's done on a weekday is what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a movement going on right now where they're talking about moving ones in this city. They're talking about moving Halloween trick or treating to Saturdays.
Yeah, well, which would be nice.
It makes sense because trick or treating is generally like 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, something like that. Just like rush hour. People are getting off work and shit. It's not the best time for kids to be out trick or treating. I think Saturday makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't have a huge issue with that. Although, I mean,
it's always been Saturday here.
Yeah,
the Saturday before Halloween.
To me, it's like it. Either way, it's not a big deal. Either way, I mean, it's not like there's a huge spike in crime or anything, man. Like it is one of the coolest holidays of the whole year, and it's definitely my favorite holiday. And I don't think we have any problems with naming Halloween a Sweeto Hall of Famer, right? I mean, do you guys have any issues with that?
I had a thought about this too. Is that the kids today do not know how lucky they are if they get that where their city changes Halloween trick or treating to the Saturday before or after Halloween.
Yeah, that's great.
Halloween, they can go to the city next to them and go trick or treating again.
Yeah.
Just saying, and then the kids in the other city can do that vice versa.
Yeah,
the
see,
kids don't know how lucky they are.
Freak brings up a great point. Razor blades and apples. Has any kid ever eaten a fucking apple they got while trick or treating? The answer is no, Freak 5. Unless you get one.
I like apples.
I do too. Unless you get one of those caramel apples, which I have received trick or treating before. So there you go. By the way, I think that's only happened once in history that somebody can point to that even makes any.
Has anybody ever given beets out because they're quote unquote nature's candy?
And by the way, there's no such thing as people handing out fentanyl on Halloween. Okay, you have to be on a lot of fentanyl to do that. You know how much?
How much does fentanyl cost?
Oh God, dude! I mean, it's a little more expensive than the norm. Don't ask me how I know that. Anyways, let's move on to the culmination of our free for all.
It's a free for all. Little baby. Yeah, it's a free for all.
Before we go on, let me address that, Brickman. What about apples made into bongs? The funniest story. Speaking of that, when Bernie Face first came here, she got her first experience of someone making an apple bong. And that was me.
Yeah. You're the master.
Yeah, I am the master at making apple bongs. It's pretty fun. But anyways,
did you carve the apple out into a bong or what?
Well, basically, you can take like a pen, any normal pen, right? You take the top core out, and then you take your pen and just shove it straight down the middle, so that way you have a vessel to where the smoke could go down, and then you take that same pen and you make a tunnel to that tunnel in the side.
Wait, this is good for Breakman to get an education. This is good for Breakman.
Oh yeah, he's getting an education right now.
He needs to educate,
Yeah. Yeah. So then you just pack the top of it. Makes a perfect little round place for your weed on the top of the apple, and you burn that, and you take the hollowed out pen and put it back into that hole that you made in the side, and there you go. There's a hole. Or if you don't have a pen, you can just I don't know, use like some like stake type thing to make a hole straight down and in the side, and then you could just use the apple itself to smoke out the side of it. It's a useful skill, I would say, and one that Bernie was amazed with. So anyways, let's move on. Let me pull up the bracket here. We are going to determine
we
right
need to
now.
have a new segment called Professor Branches.
Yeah. We're going to move on to determine the greatest game of all time. Breakman, we only have 4 left. What do we got?
Okay. I guess let's just go ahead and start right at the beginning. Eternal Darkness, Frank.
Yes.
Versus. Oops, scrolled too far. Oopsie. Eternal Darkness versus Dead Space 2.
Oh, you're starting with me on the toughest one on the board, man. Oh, boy. Dead Space 2 versus Eternal Darkness, 2 of the greatest, scariest games of all time, for sure. They definitely both deserve to be here. Oh, my word. This is so tough because Dead Space 2, I was talking to Bernie about it, and Dead Space 2 ratcheted up the terror level to a place that I don't think I've ever been before, especially when you're outside of the spaceship. And the sound design in that game is unparalleled. Like, you actually feel like you're out in space battling these necromorphs that you can't hear which direction they're coming from, and you're all paranoid on the outside of that ship. I mean, it's just an all-time great scary game. And oof. But on the other side, you have Eternal Darkness, which fucked with your mind psychologically more than any other video game in the history of video games. The volume would turn up and down. Your character would move without you moving it at times. If your sanity got to a certain level, your head would just fall off, which happened to me and scared the shit out of me. What the fuck did I do? What's going on here? Did I get hit by something? I mean, it made you really think about what was going on in that game. Plus, it had a fantastic Lovecraftian story. That being said, Dead Space 2, in my view, should move on by the slimmest of margins. Breakman.
All right. Well, what about you, Eric? What do you think?
I'm gonna have to go with Dead Space 2.
Oof.
Wow, this is an upset. I was actually going to say Eternal Darkness myself.
You were? Wow.
Yes, my reasoning being that as scary as Dead Space 2 is, and most of the horror of Eternal Darkness is, like you said, psychological.
Yes.
As opposed to monster scaring and such. But in Eternal Darkness, you weren't ever strong. Like in Dead Space 2, you can get some pretty powerful weapons.
That's good
The thing
reasoning.
is, though, with Eternal Darkness, you can know when you replay the game again for the second time, you know what to expect and when. But with Dead Space, it's a constant struggle with very strong monsters.
Yeah. Yep. Dead Space 2 moves on, man. That's a shocker because I mean, you guys know how I feel about Eternal Darkness. I think it's one of the greatest games of all time. Period. You know, it's weird coming from that studio. I forget the studio, but
Silicon Knights.
Yeah, Silicon Knights, because the leader of
It's
that
the
studio
only
sucked.
good game they ever made besides the Twin Snakes.
Yeah. All right, Dead Space 2 moves on. Breakman, what else do we got here?
Eric, Alien Isolation versus The Evil Within.
Alien Isolation. I mean, I don't have much experience with the first Evil Within or have played Alien Isolation, but based on what I've seen, I'd go over that.
Frank?
Another tough one for me here because I think Evil Within is one of the most underrated horror games of all time for sure. But Alien Isolation scared the shit out of me in a different way. Because when it says isolation, you are isolated. You are the one, right? You have other humans on ship, but they are not your friends.
Yeah.
And you run into the xenomorphs, and that first meeting with the xenomorphs is fucking terrifying. And from that point forward, you are basically playing a cat and mouse game, and at certain points you get caught when you never expect it, and it's the scariest fucking thing in the world. But just the aesthetic of Evil Within is fucking, and the atmosphere and stuff like that. Breakman, why don't you go first on this, please? I'm having a tough time.
I guess I'm gonna go with Alien Isolation just because of like you said, it can get you out of nowhere. You know,
Yeah.
just you could be running down the hallway and all of a sudden you hear like, "Arr," you know, whatever the growling noise is. It's like, what? And then there's a fucking tail through your spine
Yeah,
or some shit. Like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah. Yeah, I
And
think I agree with you. Evil Within is definitely an underrated all-time scary game, and everybody should check it out. There's a reason it made it this far. That's the big surprise of this whole tournament, right? Is Evil Within making it to the Final Four?
Guess so.
I think so, man.
But another thing with Alien Isolation is you're never really safe. You know what I mean? Like the people can follow you, and if you're hiding, they're looking for you. If you're hiding in a locker, they can see you. It's like, fuck, come on, you assholes. Like, you're supposed to be computers. You're supposed to be stupid. Be stupid. Stop looking at me. Leave me alone.
Yeah. I saw that tweet that you did, Breakman. It was the funniest thing. I think I retweeted that, actually. But, all right, so that leaves us with our final two, right, Break? What do we got?
Dude, Darkness. We're down to Dead Space 2 versus Alien Isolation.
I think, Break, you should go first. Break, you should go first.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. These are both fucking scary games. I'd say the biggest difference between both of them, you are alone in both of these games. Like, you do feel isolated. You feel like you're going to have to fight it by yourself or escape by yourself. Whereas Dead Space 2, you're going to fight back and you're going to kill everything you see. Alien Isolation, you're going to do a lot of running away, hiding, you know, because like I've got a revolver and that's not doing anything against the alien. Xenomorph's just like, oh, are you trying to tickle me? Come here, you. Let me show you my inside mouth.
Yeah.
And my acid spit. Oh, thanks, alien. Wow. Dead Space 2 has those baby heads too. There's some of the creepiest fucking things ever put in the video game. Shit, this is really hard.
That's what she said.
She did say that. You're right.
The silence is deafening.
No, I'm thinking. I'm sorry.
And these both involve space, by the way.
Yeah.
And in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah, you're both in a spaceship by yourself. I mean, really, the biggest difference about being by yourself is in Dead Space 2, like, you really are, there's no living people around. Where in Alien Isolation, there are living people, but they're doing their own thing, and, you know.
And creepy robots.
Friendly.
Yeah.
And those fucking androids. Goddamn those androids. Those are fuckers. But the monsters from Dead Space are some of the creepiest monsters ever put in games. I mean, the fact that you have to cut off their limbs and stuff like that was a definitely unique approach. I don't know. Which one of these games is scarier? I guess I'm going to go with Alien Isolation just for the fact that in Dead Space 2 you can get some really powerful weapons. And I haven't got anything powerful in Alien Isolation yet. I know there's a flamethrower in there somewhere, but I'm guessing it's not going to be like, get that and then I'm going to run through everything.
No.
Where in Dead Space, like, what you were worried about most was running out of ammo with your weapons. You know, because your weapons could get pretty strong. Alien Isolation. Frank, what are you thinking?
Okay. I adore both of these games. And I agree with everything you said, Breakman. The only difference is those fucking outdoor missions. Like when you have to go on the outside of the ship in Dead Space 2. And it's the scariest thing because it disorients you, right? Because first of all, you're kind of walking different because you're in the outside. Like, it's dead space, right? That's what it is. It's like, you know, you can't hear it. Yeah, the only thing you really hear is like the pop of your gun. Like, you don't really hear like how you would inside. Like, it's just this weird. It's sort of like you have like really good earmuffs on when you go outside, right? And you can't really, like, you know how inside Dead Space you get like audio clues to where the xenomorphs are coming at you and stuff. Right. You don't get any of that outside. You know, like Alien Isolation is scary in a way where, you know, you get caught, it's over, you know, and then you start over. But Dead Space, you're just like, oh shit, man, like I'm fucking out here, I'm on this ship, and you got all these creepy monster designs, and when you're outside, those things come at you almost as fast. Like they're creepy. For that reason, for the reason I just outlined, Breakman, this is another tough one, but I am going to go with Dead Space 2.
Wow, Eric, you are the tiebreaker.
Dead Space 2 versus who? What?
Alien
Where are we?
Isolation.
Yes, we know we won.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Alien Isolation versus Dead Space 2.
And this is it, Eric. This is the scariest game of all time, and it all comes down to your choice.
I'm gonna go for Alien Isolation.
Oh, man. I tried.
It was close.
I tried. But I look, I'm not disappointed because I told you, Breakman, that Alien Isolation's one of the scariest games of all time.
It is the same reasoning I gave you last week for my choice, because I think games where you're disempowered are ultimately scarier than games where you can have the power to kill your enemies easily.
Yeah, so my argument didn't sway you then, being on the outside of that ship
Which
and
is
not being
weird
able to
because
hear.
I voted Dead Space 2 over Eternal Darkness, but I voted it for other reasons. So.
I think we couldn't have gone wrong with either game. I think either game would have been. I would have been happy either game, and
Yeah.
I think it's a worthy choice for sure.
I mean, if I was picking the favorite, I would have picked Dead Space 2 because I like Dead Space 2 more.
Well,
than
if we were
Alien
picking my favorite, then Silent Hill 2 would have went all the way for me. Either that or Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness probably my favorite on this list. But call a spade sometimes, and Alien Isolation is now the scariest game of all time.
Nice.
You know what we should do next month, Breakman? I don't know if you, maybe, you can tell me otherwise. The worst movie you've ever seen. Can we do that next month? Can we get a list of the worst movies ever made? And which one would you pick, Bernie?
What's that one stupid Moonfall?
Oh yeah, Moonfall would be on Bernie's list.
November, or do you mean December? Because we've got 5 weeks in December. We only have 4 in November.
What would we do for November then?
Oh, well, we can do for November. It's fine. I didn't think we were going to do it both months, but if we're doing both months, that's fine.
No. We're not doing it both months.
We're doing 64 brackets 2 months in a row is one thing. Or 3 months in a row. Right?
Well, can we break it down to 32? We can get rid of a lot of shit right away, right? Can we just do a 32
this
bracket?
is the worst movies we've ever seen, so it'd have to be. All of us have to contribute to this list.
Okay, we'll do that in December then, because I hate Christmas anyway. So, and I don't want to really do a Christmas related one, because I guess we could do the greatest Christmas movie all time, but I think it would be fun in December to do the worst movie of all time. So if we bring what's 64 divided by 3? Like 31 each? No, 21. I mean, like if we each.
And a third.
How about we give you, Eric and I give you our worst 20 movies of all time, and then you, if you have to throw in any others in there, like if there's like multiples, you can just find on the internet more. That would be cool, right? So what are we doing for November?
Okay. Well, if we're gonna do a big one and if that's gonna be 64 in December, we should do like a small one for November, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Small.
Yeah. How about we do like the greatest holiday movies of all time? Because there's not a lot, right? There's a lot of Christmas ones, but
Ugh, I don't really
Not
want to
really?
do that.
Uh-huh.
Do you really want to do a holiday thing? Let's do a game thing again.
All right. What are we doing then? Greatest
Villain.
greatest villain in a video game? Okay. That's cool. 32 of the greatest villains go at it.
Maybe do that next October then.
What?
Yeah, 'cause I don't want to do 32. I want to do 64 villains.
Okay.
Get her some villains.
All right, then what are we doing then? Gaming related. Like, what system is like doesn't have a huge lineup? Can we do like Gamecast, the greatest
Sorry.
Gamecast games of all time. Not Dreamcast, not Gamecast. Can we do the
Gamecast games?
yeah, like 32 the greatest? Because I mean, there's really
How about the worst arcade game of all time?
oh, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. Let's do that next month. That's a great one,
That'd be
Break.
harder for me because I don't have as much experience in the early days of the arcade.
I guess.
That's fine.
God.
We'll pick up the slack for you. Me and Frank got this covered.
It's only a 32 game tourney, Break or Eric. You'll be all right, man. You'll be all right.
I'll try not to put like early '80s games in there. I mean, there's probably going to be a few, but I'll try and make it like later '80s and early '90s.
Yeah, I mean it's that's a quick tournament. I think we would have fun with that, man. Let's do that, and then December.
I don't know my answer. Oh, fuck.
And then December is what? What did we decide December was? Like
64 worst movies. Our worst movie, our least favorite.
yeah,
movies.
we picked 20. So you can pick 20 movies, Eric. I think one of them is clearly going to be on your list called Morbius, right? So I mean it's not hard.
Morbius, Ghost Rider,
Yeah. See, so there you go, man. And I will
the
pick.
Simpsons movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was so fucking boring and awful.
Okay. And then I'll
Never-
pick 20 of the worst movies I've ever seen, and then Break will pick 20 and then add a few more as needed. And that's it.
Mhm.
That's cool. All right, man.
We're picking worst, not best. So you better not say Twilight, Frank. Okay. Worst.
How dare you, man? And thank you for giving me 3 movies off the top of my head, Break. That's awesome. All right. That's about it. Let's do our plugs. Breakman, plug away.
You can follow me at RPGrinders on Twitter, and soon Break_man will be back because Elon Musk is bringing the criminals back. He's giving us evil people power again.
Is he
Including
really going to
Trump.
do that, Break? Is he really going to do that?
Well, he's gonna try. I mean, like he might bring them back, but they might get banned because the regulations and rules are probably still going to apply.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I don't think Elon could afford to have incidents happen on Twitter and lose advertising dollars.
Well, he already addressed the advertisers, so, I mean.
if I'm gonna get banned next time, I'm gonna fucking make it worthwhile. To get banned. I'm going all out if I'm gonna get banned. Yeah.
All right, Eric, what do you got?
You can find the written reviews I do on BostonBastardBrigade.com or my audio reviews for games. Both of these are games related. But the audio reviews are on the feed, which is at rpgrinders.podbean.com. And if you like either of those and you want to support me, there's a link to my Patreon and my Twitter profile, which is at EricRPG. There's just a link in my profile. And if you want to support me by giving me as little as $1 per month or just a one-time donation of however you feel, how much you can give, that'd help out a lot. And if you can't, you can always tell me about, talk to someone else about me and point them in my direction instead. I'd like to be able to do more like streams and stuff like that and get a better rig so I can actually play PC games without having to rely on my Steam Deck, because even it has limitations. It's only so powerful.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna point out some trusted medical associations such as the Endocrine Society and the American Association of Clinical Endocrinology. They're all about hormonal research and therapies and stuff like that. So they've got a lot of actual people who work in the field, not people who claim they're experts. Like some of the people in this Florida hearing were dentists, have no business being there.
Mm-hmm. All right, anything else?
And start paying attention to the actual reality versus what the political policy on paper is, and don't read things at face value. And like I said, you cannot trust members of the GOP. They have been proven to be liars and criminals. Just look at Ron DeSantis, who's obviously a criminal because he's committed illegal acts. We know this because several weeks ago
he basically kidnapped a bunch of legal immigrants seeking legal asylum and transported them to another state to make it their problem.
Yeah, yeah.
To make it look like he was dealing with illegals.
Yeah. All right, Eric. Anything else you want to plug?
I'll plug trans rights, LGBTQ all the way,
All right.
ever, forever.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Frank Branches. You can follow me on any of the systems, RPGrinders. I want to thank Freak5 for being in there as always. OX2, Alicidra, another TV viewer, Odyssia, Commander Root, Lizzie Beth, Juan Cabardo. I think that was the first time for you, Juan. Thanks for being in there. And Rubbing was in there. I don't know
also, there's the actual Mayo Clinic if you want like clinical studies and information.
Yeah, I don't know.
On a number of other subjects as well.
I don't know if rubbing is rubbing alcohol, rubbing his wiener, or her wiener. I don't know. But anyways, thanks for being in there nonetheless. Anything else, gentlemen?
Oh yeah, and about Ron DeSantis, he's being investigated, so that's just proof of criminality right there.
Well,
I doubt
innocent.
he'll get arrested because bad people always seem to get rewarded for bad behavior, or at least are unpunished for it.
Innocent until proven guilty, Eric. But it's heading that way, and hopefully that's not the case. Breakman, what were you saying?
It's innocent until proven guilty if you're wealthy in this country.
Also,
that's right.
Look, I told you, this is a thing he actually did. He actually took
I know.
people. So that's not innocent until proven guilty. It's more like innocent until we can actually provide irrefutable evidence.
Yeah, that's true.
But
right.
like I said, the company that he hired to do this was actually not even in business anymore. So they weren't even a legal group to actually do this illegal activity.
Yeah.
So,
well,
they might have been hiring mafia members to do this job.
All right. Stay safe this weekend. We want to see you back here next week. Until then, we are out. Later, everybody. Wow, we got through that entire episode without Harmy. Ha ha, Freak5. Ha ha.
You know that some of the tunes in that 8-bit rendition of the San Francisco song sound like a kazoo.
All
I know
the better.
It's supposed to be a harmonica, but it sounds like a kazoo.
Well, they did the best they could with chip tunes, Eric. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine. All right, take care, everybody. Appreciate everybody in chat. Thank you, especially you, Freak5.
I'm hungry.
It's awesome.